exciting to chew. Bacon fest, we're expecting you. And love, Iowa bacon love.
Oh, yes.
Mom, Dad's being weird again.
Luscious.
Honey,
So full.
it's just grass.
Oh, it's so much more than just grass. It's a healthier, greener, and more luscious lawn. Yours can be too.
Look at you.
With Kabursky Brothers Lawn Care.
Remember, no shoes on the lawn. Because you're so beautiful.
Call or click today.
Attention all campers.
Keith Murphy.
What I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career.
Andy Fales.
I'm telling you straight, it's my way or the highway.
Powered by AD.
Just a bit outside.
Murph and Andy. Proudly presented by Ramsey Subaru, live and on demand across Iowa everywhere from the Channel Seed Studios. Murph and Andy, connected by cellular advantage.
It is Murph and Andy on a fun Friday. Keith Murphy, Andy Fales, Andrew Downs. So glad to have you with us. Should have fun for the next hour and a half or so. And hopefully everyone survived the storm. It got pretty gnarly out there last night.
Yeah, especially south of Des Moines, southwestern Iowa. There was a tornado in Essex, Iowa, which is pretty far away. But yeah, kind of on the that area of Iowa that has seen way too much of this stuff in the past is off on the wrong foot this year.
Yeah, you see some of that hail?
Yeah, there's nothing good about hail. I mean, really, it's not pretty. It just damages stuff like crazy. My poor car has been hammered by hail like 3 times. It's not even an old car. Yeah, I hate hearing that.
Yeah, the engineers at WHO 13 last night, they were going around grabbing keys for all the cars because any cars not being used, they were moving them into the garage. But I don't know if hail, how much of a factor it was here.
I don't think we got any hail that I saw. Oh, hail, no.
Oh, hail, no.
Yeah, no. I mean, in parts of the viewing area there was. I mean, you could see just looking into the southern sky, like just a light show, lightning going nuts down there. And you feel kind of bad for the people down there, but also feel really glad to not be a part of it.
Yeah, also, like, I don't want damaging storms or anything, but, like, my wife and I sat outside for, like, half an hour last night as the storms were rolling to the south and the light show and the thunder and, like, the cool spring air. It was fantastic.
You treated it like a movie?
Yeah, I love a good thunderstorm.
If there's going to be hail, this is the time to get it because, I mean, there aren't any crops in the fields. Nobody's got anything cool planted in their yard that's, really growing or anything like that. I mean, it's early. But it still damages cars like crazy, buildings. Ramsey Subaru just gets slammed with body shop appointments after there's a big hailstorm. And, I just think it's like, it used to be rare here in Iowa where we would, every few years you would have a storm. Seems like we get them every year, though. There's a really damaging hailstorm that hits the metro every year now.
Did you see what our buddy Ed Wilson says for Drake Relays?
Don't say it.
It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Because it's not a myth. It's mostly rained the past 20 years. But it's looking good.
We've lived it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why Peggy's has a tent.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
put up a tent when the weather's nice. Yeah.
Last time I was in the Peggy's tent, most of the people in there were not aware of the weather. And if they had removed the tent, I don't think it would have changed their night. The Guest House Tavern and Oyster in West Des Moines sets the table for sports and more here on a fun Friday, including Hiccups Cure, Nico Taxed, and Who's the A-Hole? All presented by Guest House Tavern, Northwoods-inspired Midwestern hospitality. Now, high or low since our last show.
Presented by Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax.
Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax, you'll find them at wealthcharterretirement.com. All kinds of changes going on in the markets out there. If you're worried, you want somebody to talk to, Tim Hawkins is the guy to call. He'll tell you to just take it all in. Let's get you set up, and you're going to be okay in the long run here. I'm going to go high here just because I got to the other night, Murph, I know you saw it, but Jesse's Embers is kind of a favorite restaurant in Des Moines.
That's old school right there.
Old school.
Yeah.
Great burgers, great steaks. It's very old school. There's no windows. They're all, you can't, it's a wood paneled inside, a small restaurant, but it's kind of got the grill out there in the middle.
Like Peggy's, it's looked the same for 40 years. That's part of what people love about it. Maybe 50 years. You go into Noah's Ark, same stuff's on the wall that was there like when Jenny was going there as a kid. It just doesn't change, but that's part of what people love. It's like comfort restaurant.
I love Des Moines history. And I love restaurant history too, because there's always interesting stories about why things are the way they are and how they got started. And I would guess that I'm going to say Jesse's Embers is the second oldest restaurant on Ingersoll after Noah's. We all know the Noah's story too. It's great. But Jesse's Embers was a bar. And in the early 60s, you had to, you couldn't buy hard alcohol at a restaurant. You couldn't buy like a mixed drinks. Nope. Couldn't do it. So they would have a key club where you would bring your booze in. It was BYOB, and then they would sell you the mixer. Like if you wanted, vodka tonic, they would sell you the tonic. And
it almost sounds like a strip club.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure those laws are all kind of related. But in 1963, the Iowa legislature changed that law and allowed restaurants to serve booze inside. And Jesse's Embers was like, well, let's start serving food then. And they started serving food. And I was talking to, the last time I did a story, there was 2013, Brandon McCauley and I went over there and did a really fun story with like the original Jesse Roush is his name. And he was still alive. And he said that people went just apeshit over being able to drink in a restaurant. Like, like we all do. Like when you get
something's new,
you get your driver's license and you want to drive all over creation. And then 5 years later, you're sick of it. You don't want to drive. You want somebody else to drive, that kind of stuff. But he said, and I was reading the story again. I was looking at that story from 2013 and Jesse was like, I had 7 bar stools and only 15 tables in Jesse's Embers, but it was completely packed. And I had to have 2 bartenders working at the same time just to keep up with the demand at lunchtime. At lunchtime.
Yeah. The old liquid lunch.
And I was
business meeting.
I was like, what was the most popular drink that you were selling back then, Jesse? And he goes, yeah, that was the Silver Bullet.
The Silver Bullet.
And I was like, oh, the Silver Bullet. I bet that's an interesting mix. I was like, what is it? And he goes, that's a double vodka tonic with a lemon twist.
So just get the booze in my veins
just
now.
Pure gasoline. Double vodka tonic with a lemon. Like a bartender could make 3 of those at once. But anyway, so I was there the other day because Jesse's Embers has sold again. It hasn't sold many times, but Marty Scarpino and Dina Edelstein, who I think everybody knows them as the hosts and owners of Jesse's. They're every day. They greet everybody. You know them. People. They're kind of celebrities, and they're getting older, and the restaurant business is really tough, and
it's hard work.
Even though it's like their kid. And they love the customers and love the staff. They just have to move on. They gotta enjoy their retirement. So they sold to a guy named Carter Annette, who's 28 years old. He's young, but he's grown up in the restaurant industry, and that's what he wants to do. He just wants to be there all the time. And I was like, to Marty, I was like, aren't you a little concerned that you're selling to a guy this young? He goes, well, he's 28. Well, when I started here, I was 26. Wow. So Carter Annette, that is your life, man. That's the next 40 years. You just look at Marty, that's the next 40 years for you. But I'm just so glad that it's not closing. He's keeping everything the same, all the vendors, the menu, everything.
The Ember Burger, I hope.
The Ember Burger. The only thing that he is changing is he's going to he's putting in Wi-Fi and a computerized operating system. So there's no more handwritten tickets there anymore. And then, their chef, Lanny, who everybody knew there at Embers, because the chef there, the guy working the grill, is kind of right out in the middle of the restaurant. You'd see him, and Lanny would be barking at people, and he was always feeding me shit about the Cardinals and stuff, and big Cub fan. Well, Lanny passed away suddenly of a heart attack in December, and this really killed Dina and Marty. They're just devastated by it. But I was like, well, who do you have? He goes, that's all right. And Marty's like, that's all right. I got a buddy that stepped in and he's been helping out. So around the corner comes Steve Little, who is another guy who is just linked to Des Moines restaurant royalty and who I've done stories with in the past. Steve Little is one of the great chefs in all of Des Moines. He used to own and run Johnny's Vets Club, Winston's in the Skywalk. Then he had Chef's Kitchen right over by you in Beaverdale. That was his until he closed it. Incredible chef. Has one of the best stories and versions of steak de Burgo in town. And Steve Little, who's not a spring chicken, he's over there working the grill in Lanny's place. So you are in really good hands at Jesse's Embers if you want to go back over there. So I was just really glad to see that this icon just got a whole big breath of fresh life.
That's a good high. I have a good high. It first came to my attention through YouTube shorts and on X and Facebook. I saw these videos, then I went back and I watched the two guys with Chris and Chris and their discussion about the AI Caitlin Clark posts that are popping up everywhere, but especially on Facebook, and tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people are falling for these. And they were both hilarious talking about it. And of course, Hassel's changing his voice and he's doing commentary, and it's just great. If you haven't listened, watch the whole show, or you can find those videos. It's very good. But here's some of the ones that they pointed out. This one, among other things, with Caitlin Clark showing up at this sick girl's hospital room. She's in a shirt that reads Caitlin Clark. Like Caitlin Clark walks around, does hospital tours in a shirt that says Caitlin Clark. This little girl who doesn't look very sick in the picture, but she could sleep in one of these shoes. It's like Caitlin brought her shoes that would fit Ed Wilson.
Yeah, I think the old woman lived in a shoe like that. Had so many children, she didn't know what to do.
So much bigger than she could possibly need. And this, that you won't believe what Caitlin Clark delivered to this sick girl. And then the story goes on and on. Then there's another one. This is
the baby Jesus.
Yeah, this is Caitlin Clark swaddling a baby. And of course, she's in her Fever uniform because why not? Like she
just came straight from the game.
Yeah, she goes from the game. What is she doing here? Oh, she's transforming basketball from tragedy to hero. This newborn baby, Andy, was abandoned in a landfill. And Caitlin went and helped rescue this baby. And again, thousands of comments, tens of thousands of likes. Then there was rural Iowa Caitlin. So this AI photo, this looks more like Dave Grohl than it does Caitlin Clark. What? Look how bad this photo is.
Yeah, the guy whose face that is just shaved.
Yeah, that's an AI
smell
miss
the
there.
aftershave. I know. Well, we originally broke this story on More a couple of weeks ago.
More's always ahead.
Yeah, and they had Caitlin Clark buying this abandoned home in Des Moines and was turning it into a homeless youth shelter.
Right.
But the home behind her was the Salisbury home, the Salisbury house south
Was
of
it
Grand.
the house that's behind her on this one? And this is why we hope you'll subscribe to YouTube to get your Iowa Everywhere shows.
Yeah, the Weeks family house, one of the most iconic homes in the entire state of Iowa. So they're either doing that as a joke or it's just some really sloppy AI.
This picture looks like Andy Samberg, according to Paul Hendrickson, but there are some new ones that we discovered. I think Matt Van Winkle found these. So this one from Hawkeye Lovers, joy for the Clark family, as Caitlin Clark secretly rebuys her mother's childhood home. The unbelievable truth behind this, I guess, final tribute is what that's supposed to say. It says filial tribute. And this is going to leave you in tears. And there's a link, and under no circumstances would I click on that link. I don't know where it takes you or what happens, but I doubt it's good.
Yeah, that's going to take you to some website in India. It's going to steal all of your information.
Look at Brett and Ann in this photo.
That home down there looked like it needed rescuing, too.
Yeah, that looks
quaint, perfect little home.
It's got a big welcome sign on the front. And then another one. This is also from Hawkeye Lovers. One small act of kindness sparked a life-changing ripple effect. Caitlin Clark's simple gesture of stopping to help a homeless woman led to a movement of compassion and hope. Tens of thousands of responses. And again, do not click on that link under any circumstances.
What do we know about Hawkeye Lovers?
We know that Hawkeye fans see a website called Hawkeye Lovers and think, oh, this seems, I like the sound of this. But then these stories, and again, more proof that no one is moving people to watch or act or click quite like Caitlin Clark. And then here, this will be our final example today, also from Hawkeye Lovers. Remember when Michael Jordan could slap his name on anything and it sold out before it even hit shelves? Well, welcome to the Caitlin Clark of the WNBA Indiana Fever era, where a phenom just shook the basketball world so hard, WNBA veterans are sweating through their headbands. Angel Reese is melting down after this MJ deal has been revealed. Full story. Again, don't click on it. We don't know what the full story suggests. But look at is that an AI photo of Angel Reese, or do they just capture
screen grabs of a completely out of context piece of video that they're using there? And don't think for a second that the Angel Reese component of that doesn't make it twice more clickable. But this is all harmless, but,
to a degree.
Well, to a degree, but I mean, what I'm getting at is that this can go the other way hard. Right. I mean, making mug shots, or you can make whatever you want out of a picture.
Nudes. This is a problem.
That happens all the time. Yeah, right. It happens all the time. And people believe it. First of all, they believe it half the time because they want to believe it. And the algorithms know you want to believe it.
Right.
So they feed it to you. People take it and run with it. They pass it all over the place. And then there's nothing to it, like that, that poor girl down at Ole Miss that Pat McAfee took and ran with. I mean, that kind of stuff is potentially life ruining.
Yep.
It's terrible. I would hope that we will very quickly develop a thick skin about this kind of stuff and a high degree of doubt. Anytime you see something that is really questionable at all, and it just makes, fact checking, makes good reporting more important, where people have to, before you can assume that these pictures are true, or this, stupid little blurb report is true, you need to do your homework, and you need to have a trusted source to go to be able to confirm. I mean, Snopes.com, geez, that place is in the right place at the right time.
They may need to hire more people.
Place? Yeah, no kidding. Need to triple their staff.
This is mostly harmless here, as you said, But it gets really dangerous when your algorithm shows that you have a real strong political lean one way or the other. So it just starts feeding you stuff that it knows
That
is
you
going
wanna
to
hear.
upset
Yep.
you or that you want to
Or
hear.
don't want to hear. Yeah, something you're going to react to.
Yeah, something you'll react strongly to. And even the harmless stuff, like I could see my parents, my dad especially, falling for some of this stuff, scrolling through Facebook and thinking that some of this is real. So we have a quickie poll from WCI Pools and Spas in Ames and Urbandale.
Have you ever fallen for a fake AI story? Yes or no?
I think I probably have. I don't think I can point it out right away, but I think I probably have. How would you know if you didn't?
That's the thing. I think a lot of people think they haven't.
Yeah.
And unknowingly, I'll say, like, after watching all these Caitlin Clark things, this popped up on my, let me get this up on my Facebook today, and it's Rocco Becht visiting a hospital. This is a real thing, Mary Greeley Medical Center. But when I saw these pictures, I was like, oh, now they're going after Rocco Becht with this fake AI crap.
And it's real.
It took me a minute to like, okay, the people who are sharing it are legit. It's We Will Collective and Brent Bloom. This is really the Mary Greeley Medical Center. That's real. But for the first 30 seconds I saw this, I didn't believe Rocco Becht went and hung out with a kid and played Xbox. I thought it was an AI thing because that's most of what I see now.
It's almost a reverse falling for because I'm with you. I saw this and a couple of things jumped out to me right away. One was his sweatshirt says team, which I understand team before the individual, but I thought team? That almost is like a ray gun sweatshirt I used to have that said beat the other team.
Yeah, your team sucks. Yeah.
And then the other part of it is just kind of like the heavenly sky point from from Rocco and the guy that's sitting up in bed playing the game.
It's so
and
perfectly
it's real.
staged. Yeah. Well,
and the lighting is perfect.
Yeah, I know. And it's too bad. I mean, it's too bad that we have, but this kind of stuff has been going on to some degree or another, whether it goes back to fake handwriting or doctored photos or something where you had to pull out a razor blade and remove somebody's head from somebody else's body. It's been going on to a certain extent for eons, but now it's just so good, right? It's easy. First of all, it's easy to make something good, and it's so easy to circulate it. And you have a lot of just gullible people out there.
You ever have a fake ID?
Absolutely.
Was it made by was it a guy in college or high school that like, I can get you a good fake ID? And there were X-Acto blades involved in cutting and pasting, which you can't do now. But back then, each school usually had a guy who could make the fake IDs.
That's not where I got mine. Mine was on the north side of St. Louis. There was a real sketchy notary public where you could go down and for people that had their driver's licenses revoked or lost their military ID, you would have to get this US ID, like the United States identification card. It's just kind of a general identification card. And they would say that you needed like 2 forms of ID. And I think I used a gasoline credit card and like my school ID.
A library card.
Yeah, a library card and a gas card or something. And she didn't care and just took the money and probably didn't, pay the company. But that thing worked for me forever. I mean, it certainly worked all around Des Moines when I was a Drake student, but I don't remember where that ultimately got taken. But the best one was my friend Chris Bloom, who's one of the funniest people on the planet, had his fake ID was like a 68-year-old black woman. And he would present it to people and they would just start laughing so hard. They'd be like, all right, come on in, kid. They would care. It was just like genius, right?
Yeah, he's ahead of his time. That probably led to the inspiration for McLovin. The organ donating, what was he? Organ donor.
Organ donating.
From Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
Hawaiian organ donor. Yeah, that's
AD,
right.
I already know your trick because we had a house full of boys. Your trick was older brothers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And my oldest brother was 5 years older than me. So like, yeah, he turned 21. I was 16. Boom. Have his ID.
My brother Toby
used
Toby had no problems. He had my old ID. He probably still has one as well.
I've never had a fake ID. I feel like I missed out.
You're so good.
No. Interact with others on YouTube. You can email Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com. On X, it's Murph_Andy. It's all powered by the Cellular Advantage. 35 regional locations. As far as you know, Andy, it's not up to 36 or 7 yet. We're at 35.
It might be. I don't know.
They move fast.
Doug has been on vacation. He's taken a little bit of a break from taking over the world.
Proud partner with U.S. Cellular since 1993. All right, let's get the buzz.
The Buzz. Brought to you by Logier Heating and Cooling.
Logier Heating and Cooling coming to our house next week, and
Monday.
Yep.
Tune it up. This is the time to call them. Tune up that air conditioner now before it gets hot, and then you find out the thing goes on the fritz, and then you have to get in a long line with everybody.
I think it's in the 50s today, and with these lights on, it's kind of warm in my room here. So I gotta talk to the Lozier, figure out how to have all this heat dumped on Jenny's office instead of mine. That's what I'm going to do. Lee Corso stepping down from College Game Day after 38 years and just an incredible run. Now, this is a guy that, for those who are too young to remember, he was a coach for a long time. But Andy, it seems like what Lee Corso really got, especially as College Game Day got more and more popular as it started to travel, he understood that he needed to first be an entertainer. Yeah. And he was an entertaining guy. I am glad they're doing, one final show and they're ending this. I mean, we should all be celebrating this great career, but it was getting increasingly uncomfortable for me to watch because I like Lee Corso and I do care. And I thought it was wonderful. Kirk Herbstreit especially, but just how everybody was there loving and supporting him after the stroke. That was all wonderful. Oh, yeah, there's Eric Church, famous Cyclone fan, picking the Hawkeyes. But College Game Day really had it going. And the putting the mascot head on or the headgear, that became like something people just waited for each week.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was an icon and became kind of a figurehead for that show, almost a mascot. He was, and clearly he was beloved by the people that were around him because nobody was trying to push him out. Right. We see that all the time.
Dick Vitale, same.
I mean, you see that all the time though. People are in a position, or it's a really good, powerful position, one that they really enjoy, and they don't want to give it up, but they're slipping. And, we've seen that whether it's, President Biden or whether it's, broadcasters that we know and love, whether it's, somebody that owns a company who doesn't want to, give up that spot. Because I think one of the hard things is that when you get to that stage of life, you wonder, what are you going to do, when you stop doing this, when you step away, because that was like your thing. It was part of your identity. It was part of the reason you got up in the morning. It was part of, it was probably, there wasn't a lot of pressure for him anymore. So it was just 100% good. And what are you going to replace that with?
Right.
And I imagine his wife and family probably wonder the same thing. I mean, many times we see these people step away from these jobs finally, or they're pushed out or whatever, and then it's not long before they're gone.
Right, because in many cases they didn't have another passion, or they didn't have a hobby, or they didn't have life balance. They just,
or there's
got
just
up
no
to
replacing
do their job.
that. I mean, Lee Corso, there's no replacing that for him in his life. I mean, there isn't. Look, it is. We will all be there. Okay, this isn't something that's just, unique to him.
Right.
We, in some capacity, we will all be presented with this same situation later on, where you have to kind of make a decision. Is it just time for me? And then it comes down to the timing. When do you do that? Decide to step down. Do you do it as long as you possibly can until they're like pushing you out. I remember Zabel saying that, they'd have to pry the microphone out of his hand and wheel him out the door before he was going to stop broadcasting. Or do you want to go the other way and leave? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Or do you want to go the other way and leave with everybody still wanting more from you, and feeling like you've still got more in the tank? That's a tough decision to make. I don't think there's a universally right answer for everybody.
There's not. And I think if you're game day and, you had the catchphrase, not so fast, and he used those pencils, but the headgear was the big thing. But you have to end it there though, right? You don't have whoever's
you don't
in
pass
next.
that on to somebody else now.
Yeah. You can't do it. That was his thing. You have to find somebody else. Somebody else has to find their own way. You can't come in and just, Randy, you're replacing Andy Fales, so we're going to need you to do What's Bugging Randy each week.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know what that is. It's a commentary. I don't do a commentary. Well, you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to do What's Bugging Randy because we got sponsors and we got to keep that going. And hopefully people won't notice the R. Yeah, you have to go in a different direction. Yeah. You can't keep doing the same thing. All right, Aaron Rodgers was on Pat McAfee as the Steelers try to decide if he wants to continue playing. Just a short summary is Aaron Rodgers doesn't seem like he has the passion. He'll be 41 years old. If you don't have the passion to be playing, you probably shouldn't be playing at 41. But that's not why I bring this up. Another reason to please subscribe on YouTube. The photo, Andy, look at the middle of Aaron Rodgers' forehead here. Has he been branded by a Trekkie?
You and I were watching this the other day. I couldn't even listen to the words coming out of his mouth because I'm so fixated on what the hell is going on between his eyebrows.
I don't think
it looks like it looks like a Star Trek signal. Yeah, it does. It looks like a Star Trek emblem. What is it?
Boomerang?
Is that a tattoo?
I don't know what it is. Like I have that aging furrowed brow thing.
Yeah, that's not what that is though.
But I don't think that's what that is. AD, what is this?
It's what happened in Wisconsin too long. Your face starts to melt.
It's half a W.
What did he get branded with a chicken foot?
It's really bizarre.
It was really weird. We couldn't stop looking at it. What is going on between his eyebrows?
We didn't even pay attention to what he said. And at this point, I don't even care that much. Just tell us if you're playing another year or not. I think the NFL would be more interesting if Aaron Rodgers does play another year, especially with a team that doesn't seem to fit at all, like the blue collar world of Pittsburgh. Sign me up for that. But I don't know really that much of what he said because I need to know what's going on between his eyebrows.
There's got to be something going on there. Is that some sort of
nothing comes up?
Some stupid quack medication thing that he's doing? Some stupid holistic medicine? Is that what it is?
Maybe
that's my first guess.
He was in the dark and he ran into a doorway or something.
Yeah, because he ran into a triangle.
Remember the first time in the Olympics when Michael Phelps and everybody started cupping, and at first you were trying to figure out like what the hell is going on? What are all those
attacked
marks
by a sea lamprey or something? Yeah, what is going on?
But this, and by the way, this is not AI or a doctored photo because Andy and I watched this interview, and I just wanted to find a photo that showed what the interview was like. I don't know.
Sam is saying here in the comments that knowing Rodgers, that mark was strategically placed on purpose for attention. Probably was. He probably wanted somebody to ask him about it, and they didn't. He was devastated. But yeah, I don't know. There's something's going on there. I mean, I think he could still play another year and really help a team like the Steelers that has things set up. But I'm also very ready for him to go away.
A lot of people are. I just think the NFL is more interesting with him in it. Would you rather have him go to the Steelers or just make a lot of Vikings fans uncomfortable? I don't think that's happening, but there was a discussion.
I don't know. I mean, the poor Vikings fans, he'll disappoint them somehow and they'll be crushed all over again.
But the Paul Allen call would be so good.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
You're Paul Allen's final call when he's just like, you know what? I'm gonna broadcast this game like I am not coming back to work tomorrow.
Nico Iamaleava?
Iamaleava.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he's going to UCLA. And the deal has been reported, though it's very difficult to actually confirm the numbers, at $1.5 million, which is $700,000 under what he was reportedly making at Tennessee before they encouraged him to leave. This is way short of what he would have made at Tennessee. Now, his camp says this was never about the money; it was about the offense. But
what?
He gets one.
Signing with UCLA was about the offense, or holding Tennessee's feet to the fire was about the offense.
Just that the discussions were about the offense, not the money. Tennessee says that absolutely is not true. But you go from Tennessee, a talented team that was in the college football playoff, to UCLA, not a great team that plays in a mostly empty stadium most of the time, and $1.5 million in California is
not $1.5 million in Tennessee.
It's going to be about $800,000 after taxes. I mean, there's no place you're going to get taxed more than California. I don't know what this will do long term, but we welcome Nico.
Tennessee
to the Big
might
Ten.
have no state income taxes. There might be a no state income tax state too.
I had to keep reminding myself that he's in the Big Ten now.
Yeah, I checked Iowa's schedule right away because it's like, I don't want to see him again. He smoked out in that bowl game a couple years ago, but Iowa does not play UCLA this year.
There you go. Baylor basketball. How many years ago since Baylor won a national championship? It's within the past 10.
Yeah,
definitely.
Right now, just one more thought on portals here. Baylor basketball, with graduations and the transfer portal, currently has 0 players on the roster. 0.
Well, I think Drake had 1
last year. Yeah.
2.
What a
they didn't have anybody that was that played a lot. That's Baylor. I mean, it might have been 5 years ago that they won a national title. It hasn't been very long.
Yeah,
Scott Drew's one of the best coaches in the entire game. Does it matter?
No, but he'll get players. I mean, Indiana had a mostly bear covered, and Darren DeVries has gone in there, and Indiana has a $10 million NIL budget. One of 10 teams with a $10 million NIL budget for basketball.
I mean, I would think that a team like Baylor, though, he can. They've got money. It's a big private Southern Baptist school. Those people give a lot of money. He can go out and pay for players, but I also think he can just recruit on the power of Scott Drew. Making great basketball players. That still happens in college basketball. These coaches have a lot of pull for recruits who just want to come and play for him.
Gatorade debuted a new campaign. It's going to run for a while, and it features Caitlin Clark. It's lose more, win more. You have to in order to win, you first have to go through a lot of losses. You have to lose to learn to win. And she's one of the people featured in it. Luka Doncic is in it. Shedeur Sanders, Asia Wilson. The first musician ever, Kendrick Lamar, not only is in it working out, but he provides both the voice and the music. So you're going to see this campaign for a long time and several different steps.
You lose more, you win more. But if you don't drink Gatorade the whole way, you're not going to win.
You just lose.
You can't.
You never make the transition into winning.
Your body needs that Gatorade.
It is an effective ad when you've seen it's about a minute long. It's well done. And the thing I like, because I can remember from my childhood, it does show you the development of Gatorade in Florida and just those old glass bottles and stuff that were.
Yeah, because that's where it was from, right? I mean, that's why it was Gatorade.
University of Florida.
Yeah.
They were trying to develop something that would work more effectively than water or pickle juice or salt tablets. And that's how they came up with Gatorade. And it just.
Boy, that's a low bar, isn't it? We got something that will be more appealing as a beverage than
Pickle
salt
juice.
water and pickle juice.
And they just had the two flavors. That was
They
your
only
big
had
decision.
one at first. Yeah.
Was
then
it
I
just
think-
lime at first?
I think so. And then
I think
orange
maybe was
quick.
the first one.
Well,
Yeah.
orange was that would make more sense with
lime
Florida,
was
I
first.
guess. It's probably just
I just
dye.
think it would be great for them to bring back the pea bottle.
Time Magazine has released its new issue, The 100 Most Influential People in America.
Saw that.
And among the athletes listed, is Serena Williams, Simone Biles, Brianna Stewart, Jalen Hurts is in there, and Nafisa Collier. But it's hard to take this seriously when the most influential athlete in America right now, Caitlin Clark, is not included in the list. Now, I don't think there's some time bias against her because I think they named her Athlete of the Year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't understand when you have a person who, when she's not involved at the NCAA, WNBA level, the draft, anything she's not involved in compared to when she is a 50% or so drop. She's the definition of influential. How can you not include her in this list?
I don't know. I've seen that list a few times. I haven't read the criteria. I can't imagine what that would be that would, exclude her from this list, but they have honored her repeatedly. And I did see pictures of her when they were releasing this list. It's 100 people. She's not in 100 in the 100.
She's in the 5. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, it's in the, you think she's in the top 5 people or the top 5 athletes?
In America right now,
probably athletes. Yeah.
Pretty dang influential. I mean, all the numbers. I don't go back over them.
Top
5
no
top athletes. She's number 1 in America right now for influence. Yeah. But
maybe it's us. Maybe it's Iowa. We can't
do
give
people
this
not
to
like
Iowa.
us?
They don't. They forget we're here.
We're Iowa everywhere.
We should Iowa should try to use that to our advantage somehow. Could we steal stuff from other states because they would forget about us?
What about stealing? What was Nebraska's slogan? It's not for everyone.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. Yeah,
it's not for. What are some of the word D+?
Drake. I almost made a joke about that the other night at the collective dinner, but I thought maybe that wouldn't go over all that well because some of the people that came up with that were probably in the room.
Let's get mad again.
Yeah, that sucked.
That's a pretty bad one.
And I think that's been a little misinterpreted too, right? I mean, there's that was Iowa trying to have fun with Fran McCaffrey's personality. I don't think that's what it was about. It was like, let's get back to March Madness again, right?
Which,
but people
if you have to
spun that
explain
around.
your slogan, it's too complicated.
Bad slogan.
Yeah, that's not a good slogan. WFAN host Chris Lopresti was on the air and had the hiccups.
This is Dallas, right? WFAN? No, that's New York. New York.
Yeah, New York.
Yeah.
And he had the hiccups, according to Chris, for 3 days, which sounds brutal to me. When I have the hiccups, I'm trying to do everything to get rid of the hiccups. Well, this is WFAN has a popular radio show. And Andy, when you say something on the air like, man, I can't get rid of these hiccups, what happens immediately?
They're gone.
Oh, no, that would be great. But no, the phone starts ringing off the hook and everybody
telling
has
you,
their cure.
their home remedy for
their home
curing
remedy.
the hiccups. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot involves spoons, the drinking from the back side of the cup.
Hold your breath, get scared.
All of that. But the suggestion that got the most attention, that the guy calling in said it absolutely works, it's not comfortable, but just get it over with. Go into the bathroom, stick 2 fingers down your throat. You might throw up, you might not, but get the gag reflex. Once the gag goes off, you will not have the hiccups anymore. And I tend to believe it.
And it work for him?
This guy didn't do that. He said he wasn't doing that.
Why? I do that anytime I do that several times a year.
What? For the hiccups?
No, not for the hiccups. If you're feeling sick, you need to go pull the trigger.
Ask if you guys have ever actually tried to do that, but
Not for hiccups, I haven't, but you've never
for
pulled the
drinking
trigger?
too much? Are you saying you're emptying out that stomach so that you feel less of it in the morning?
Yeah, I have. I've done that before. I've done mostly I do it when I'm feeling sick or I'm hungover or something. You get up in the morning, you're like, God, I feel like shit, and then you're just kind of walking around. You don't feel well. You're like,
purge.
I'm gonna go pull the trigger.
My
you go in and it works.
My parents were like out to dinner one night when I was a kid, and my older brother didn't want to go to school the next day, so he tried to make himself throw up, but he couldn't do it. So his eyes just got all watery. So he was just like, "Can you just lie and say I threw up?" And I was like, "Sure." So I've never tried it because it didn't work for him.
Well, in case you
have never tried to make yourself throw up.
No, I mean not
never
by sticking fingers down my throat.
Yeah,
no.
you gotta like tickle the back of your throat. And then and then it just
that whole
starts going. Yeah,
I've done it.
It's a weird.
You're not sticking your toe down your throat, Andrew. Come on.
Yeah, you have to
you have all these complexes in one body.
Uncovered feet into your throat. Andy, will you try this the next time you have a bad case of hiccups?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I hate having the hiccups.
Hiccups
but
are
what I
terrible.
don't understand is so for 3 days, so he went to sleep and then got up the next morning and still had the hiccups?
Yep. Said he's had the hiccups. You know, there have been a couple of people, I think they've even been in the Morse segment, have had hiccups for like years. I can't imagine.
Yeah, we've been talking about that. Yeah, Moore broke a story a number of years ago about that.
If you were for 3 days, you have to have one or the other for 3 days. You rather have hiccups or diarrhea?
Diarrhea. No question.
What?
Diarrhea for sure.
Yeah.
Because you
give me the mud butt.
You think you can cure that, but I mean, have you ever had like where was you had like clear? See, I was.
I've had a colonoscopy. Yeah, I've had the mud butt.
I got some kind of intestinal parasite in Greece or southern Italy or something, and I was eating Imodium AD like they were mints. I mean, like they were Tic Tacs. I was blowing through boxes, and I had to like buy more Imodium AD in Turkey, where nothing is in English. I'm like, what is it? Am I not buying the right thing? Am I going to kill myself?
You might have been taking allergy medicine.
Yeah, I got to like describe to the person at the pharmacy what's going on with me. I'm looking for anti-diarrheal. He's like, yes, and yes. I'm like, no, I need these will these help me stop shitting? And they're like, no.
Did you start giving it like a demonstration?
Not poison, not poison. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, that was nerve wracking, but yeah, that eventually went away, but it was awful. I mean, you can't go anywhere. You're just walking around. I had to keep traveling too.
Hiccups for 3 days, or
I think I'd take the hiccups through 3 days.
Constant sneezing.
Oh God.
I mean, just like every.
I hate sneezing. Yeah, sneezing.
A lot of people are having allergy problems right now. There's a lot of Jenny is one of them. They're just
see all those flowers out there. That's the reason.
Yeah, really bad right now. Grimaldi's fan photo winner is Zach Roberts. His son Noah loved his first iCubs game this week. Oh, what a cutie. They're headed to the West Des Moines Grimaldi's with a $50 gift card, courtesy of Grimaldi's Coal Brick Oven Pizzeria on Mills Civic Parkway in West Des Moines and the district at Prairie Trail. That is a cute kid. Hello.
Poor kid.
Just what do you mean, poor kid?
Cubs hat.
Oh, jeez.
Abusing the kid.
No, he's
the
got him started.
Winner. Yeah, come on. Well,
supports
Cubs
his
are
local
leading the
team.
division right now.
And now here's Seth MacFarlane on BBC reading the famous monologue from Liam Neeson in Taken by Kermit the Frog.
I don't have any money. But what I do have are a very specific set of skills. Skills that make me a nightmare for somebody like you. If you don't let the girl go, I will track you down, I will find you, and I will kill you.
God, he's the best.
He's so talented. God,
So
the voice
talented.
is just incredible. All right, Confluence, official beer of Murph and Andy.
Here we go.
Confluence, where good things come together. You have one? You going to crack it open?
I got a Capital Gold Vienna style lager. Listen. now a little salute to my dad. I'm going to put it in a koozie. I'm going to put it in a Cooney's Tavern koozie.
Nice.
Keep it cool today.
I don't think Brian Cooney misses a show. So if you're
salute to Brian,
watching Brian, salute to you. Yeah, it's good. Well,
that tastes like Friday.
AD, are you cracking one open? Is AKC marketing open?
I got a little climbing kites here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Wow.
We're taking it up a notch here.
It's a holiday weekend.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I don't know that Jesus ever had a climbing kite.
Well, he didn't have a capital gold either.
Wine.
No Vienna style. I don't know. Did he drink? He served wine.
I bet there was some hemp medicinal uses going on.
Oh yeah, God only knows.
God, you know Sipker's listening right now and just wants in so badly. Let's not let him in. Time for throwdowns.
Throwdowns. It's Throwdowns. Backed by Heartland Tire and Auto.
Heartland Tire and Auto, treating you like family in Ankeny, Waukee, Knoxville, Boone, and Creston, an authorized dealer of both Bridgestone and Firestone tires. I've been holding off asking this question, hoping that rosters will start to take shape, but screw it. Let's just get to it, Murph. What's a fair expectation for the Iowa men's basketball team in year one under Ben McCullum?
Make the NCAA tournament. I think Iowa will make the NCAA tournament and will not have to be sweating bullets in the final week of the season to make the Big Ten tournament. And I think that's reasonable, the way you can shape a roster in the first year. And I know Hawkeye fans are watching the portal. They want more, but Iowa is rated highly because you kind of take Bennett Sturtz for granted, but he was the first or second highest graded player in the portal. So they're going to be fine. And other people's rosters turned over too. So he's such a good coach. And you look at what he did at Drake in year one, turning over an entire roster. I think it's the tournament.
Well, I agree, but that's no small order. I mean, it isn't. I mean, this is the Big Ten. This is, he does not have the whole crew that he had at Drake. He's playing a style. This is a style of play that is not going to take this conference by storm. This is not going to be any shocker, any difficult adjustment for most of these coaches to figure out. They may not be able to do it, but they'll know it's coming. I like to. I mean, we are taking Bennett Sturtz for granted. I mean, Bennett Sturtz may come in and be the best point guard that Iowa's had in decades. He might, but we don't know. We're making some pretty big assumptions here, but I don't feel too uncomfortable about making them because I do think he's that good a coach.
All right, Andy, let's go to his replacement. What is a fair expectation for Drake in year one under Eric Henderson?
Well, it is not following in the footsteps of Ben McCullum, and that is nothing against Hendo. I mean, he needs to be, and Drake fans will give him this. I mean, he needs to have a rebuilding year. He needs to be allowed to have that. I do not see them making the tournament. I think a reasonable expectation is for them to have a winning record in the Valley Conference.
My expectations are higher, and maybe it's not fair. It's not going to be 30 wins, but I think he can get to 20 wins. I think they can be in the hunt for a Missouri Valley Conference championship. I think Drake has become the top team in the Valley. UNI is going to be strong this year. Going to have to deal with Ben Jacobson and crew, but I think they'll be right in there competing.
All right, Murph, someone asked me recently if I have a CD player, and that was the first time in a while I realized that other than in my car, I don't. Do you have a working, hooked up CD player?
Well, so a DVD player is a CD player. Does that count?
It is?
You can play you can play music through your Blu-ray player. Yeah, if you have it one.
I'm going to say that doesn't count. Because I have an Xbox that'll probably play a CD, but
I've had to think about this and no, and I'm not even positive. I've never used a CD player in the car. I'm not even sure if there is one.
You got
I
one.
do? Yeah.
I just can't see the slot. Yeah.
Okay. So there is one in the car, but in the house, no. I don't think so. I can't think of it.
I do not right now. I
Jeez.
still have all of my CD.
There we go.
I still have all of my CDs, and CDs are actually coming back. They are. They're not going to make probably the same comeback that vinyl has made, but
They are? Why would
yes.
they make a comeback? They never sounded that
Talk to our friend Eric Herman. They sound great. They're incredible. CDs are great. They sound
compared to
amazing.
vinyl?
Well, in many ways they are better than vinyl. They're not. They don't have
Like tell me 8-tracks are coming back.
No, those suck. Cassettes and 8-tracks are never coming back. CDs sound amazing, and it is a hard copy that you will always have. It's our friend Eric Herman works over at Skylabs in Valley Junction with Kevin Mull. He's a really good guy, really interesting place, vintage audio store, and they have an amazing podcast. Skylabs Audio, check it out. It's an amazing podcast about vintage audio, but they just did a segment on how CDs are coming back and why they're coming back, and some of the reasons are kind of surprising. I didn't expect. One of the reasons is that a lot of these artists, older artists, they take like a Def Leppard or something, they don't own the rights to their old music, and they want to. So they re-record songs when they're in their 60s. Wow. You notice that? You notice that every now and then. You'll hear like a song that you know by heart, and you're like, that's not the same recording. Somebody's futzed with this. It's probably the band that's done that and changed it up. It doesn't quite sound the same, but that's the only version that's out there anymore. And so if you want that CD copy, you want the original CD, so you still have that link. Like John Denver started doing that even, but that was a long time ago that he died. But
I think Taylor Swift did this to get out of to meet her obligation and get out of her deal.
Another good example. Yeah.
And I know at one point, Van Morrison, who's always battling with record companies, he just released like a string of albums because he owed them like 5. So he just put out 5 in like a month.
Just
there you go.
Crap albums that he didn't just to fulfill his obligation. But no, I don't have a CD player in the house, but I kind of wouldn't mind. I'm just like, where do you put it? It doesn't go with my vintage system with the vinyl. Well, it doesn't fit in there. Andrew, you could put a CD player over there with your receiver. It would fit.
I could, but it seems unnecessary. Especially the receiver I have is a Bluetooth player anyway. So anything I don't have on vinyl, we just hook up on my phone and play on Spotify. So a CD player is superfluous.
Your question, though, has got me to thinking, because Jenny has asked me a couple of times, these big stacks of CDs I have in those
I've got a
stands
box
that
in the garage.
Yeah. What are we going to do with these? And it's kind of almost like collecting baseball cards as a kid or something. Like,
does she ask you with like a tone in her voice that very clearly is saying, "Can I throw these
out of here?" Yes,
get rid of these. Yeah.
I'm not going to throw them out in the middle of the night because I know you care. But what are we doing? Why do we have all these? When's the last time you played one? And now it's also happening with the DVDs. Like
I still play those.
I'll even pay $2 or $3 just to immediately stream it in high definition versus finding the DVD and hooking the player back up and all. Yeah, so I've got a problem.
You don't have a player hooked up all the time?
No, because I can't remember the last time I watched a DVD. I think it was What's Bugging Andy.
I still watch DVDs. I watch them all the time. I mean, I have like all the Game of Thrones seasons and stuff. I don't want to have to get a HBO Max subscription to watch those. I mean, I have so much stuff. I still do use them. I mostly don't use them, but I have them, and I'm not part. Those are going to be one of the last things that go.
All right, that's throwdowns.
That is throwdowns. Well, could mean only one thing. What time is it? It's 2:00. Yeah,
we have to do it now.
We have to do
alternative.
It. Ready or not, it is time for Scott School.
Scott School, Scott School, Scott School is cool. Yeah.
I'm here. Hey, everybody. It's a little rainy out there today, and you can smell the smell of rain. That smell is incredible. And I was thinking, what is that? And of course, I dug deep into the Mind Palace and remembered it is the most powerful, the smell of rain in the spring, because over the winter, especially in colder climates, oils and such things, they accumulate on the dry, frozen conditions. And then when that warm rain penetrates right into that dry soil, it just throws all of these incredible smells into the air, along with some bacteria and stuff like that. And humans, we are evolutionarily wired to love this smell because it helped to signal to us that there was fresh water and probably more vegetation, better hunting experiences out there. And that's Scott School.
Scott School, Scott School, Scott School is cool. Yeah.
Andy,
so go out there and smell it.
I was trying to hold in a burp the whole time I was thinking about it.
Okay. Scott School brought to you by Hoodoo, the Odd Job Marketplace. Before we get to more, there's Hoodoo.
Can I say something
nice
about
Hoodoo?
Yeah, because I was just thinking about it. I totally digress here. I apologize.
Yeah, that's fine.
So the other day I did this story on the biggest house in Polk County a couple weeks ago. Really nice couple up in Elkhart had built a gigantic house, like 11,000 square feet, 2 pools, 2 hot tubs, huge. Really, really nice people. Let me in. The story got a lot of attention online. People wanted to see inside this house. And at WHO 13, as we always do, we posted it on our Facebook page, the link to the story.
Mm.
But then when you do that, then you got the Facebook comments that come with that. And Andrew, what do you say about the comments section on Keith's Facebook page?
It is first place on the internet.
And that's not true.
Oh, it's absolutely true.
It is. And Keith
we were talking about this yesterday. Listen.
Keith just throws it in there. He's like, let's throw a bomb. Let's just throw a grenade.
No, 80 to 90% of the people are thoughtful and kind.
Yeah,
and
but you know what the hell you're doing. When you do that, you know that you're bringing out all these trolls. Yeah.
When they roll in somebody rolls in, a troll rolls in a grenade, then people respond to it.
Hand the grenade to the troll.
And then if it goes political, everybody take cover.
It doesn't have to go political. It can go like,
that's
social,
the worst though.
Social. Yeah. Well, they're religious or something like it. Something it'll take some kind of turn. Yeah. Absolutely.
Cyclone Hawkeye is probably the worst.
Anytime first of all, why do you care about giving anybody a voice on these issues? Why do they need a voice?
You're posting stories and they're reacting to them.
Yeah, but you don't need to hear their reaction to that.
So you're saying
give a microphone
there should be no
to the
comments on
public?
Facebook? It's a
no.
community.
This is how you grow your Facebook. This is why Keith has an incredible Facebook
They
following,
get to watch it. They get to see what he posts, but we don't need to listen to what they have to say about that.
But oftentimes,
seriously,
it's insightful. Sometimes,
but usually it's like a national story that you post there.
Sometimes,
and then they comment on that. Nobody needs to hear what they say about that.
What? That's a community of thought.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
this
is how you build a following, though, Andy. Look at our following.
It is how you build a following, but it's still that game. It's still just instigating people.
But
that's what it is.
What are we doing here? We're spilling our thoughts out on random subjects.
Yeah,
for
but we are interacting with people in an interactive podcast here. It's totally different. You just
but most of the people in the comments aren't interacting with each other.
Yeah, they're fighting with each other.
Some of them are fighting.
Most of them,
and oftentimes they stand up for the good.
And
people stand up.
They police themselves. What's the point? You think you're making world peace over there?
No,
You're
but
not. It's a fight. You're just giving people an arena to fight.
At the best, shouldn't people talk to each other, even if they're on opposing sides?
They're not
in common section.
Not on social media. Nobody has worked anything out over social media. We can
Keith
all
is
agree
the
on
Don
that.
King of local social media.
That's what it is. It's being like a promoter. But anyway, so I'm off subject here. But so I was looking. We posted that story on Facebook, and there are all these comments and people, blown away by how incredible this house was. But there are a few comments from people who were hating on them for having such a huge house, stuff like that. And then
there's jealousy or resentment of the wealthy.
or whatever. There's just trolls on there that are, they just want to stir it up. And so I was looking at that, but as I was looking at that, I noticed the story I did with Hoodoo, with Scott and Derek and those guys over at the house that they're working on here in West Des Moines, which I think is just this absolute good, right?
Yeah.
It's this small house that they bought that was in really bad condition. They're fixing the whole thing up. They're using their doers to do it, demonstrating what Hoodoo can do. And they're going to sell this house, what basically it costs.
At cost. Yeah.
Just covering.
So it works for many different people.
And on top of that, that whole street gets a nicely renovated house. They used to be a shithole, and now it's a nicely renovated house, and it makes everybody else's property look better.
Exactly.
Absolute good. I cannot imagine coming up with something negative to say about this. But of course, it's the Facebook comment section. It's social media. There are a bunch of assholes on there that somehow have a problem with Hoodoo and everybody with her. I'm like, oh my God, you need to never look at Facebook comments. Don't go there. It's a horrible place. You don't get any insight there. You don't have any meaningful discussions. You don't even know who the hell you're talking to. If Mother Teresa, if I did a story on Mother Teresa, I swear to God, I'm 100% sure the Facebook comments would rip her to shreds.
I think Scott would say something negative.
So I was like, Hoodoo, this is like Hoodoo. This is a great thing that Hoodoo is doing. It's so cool. And there's a whole bunch of people in there that's just like, this owner is ripping them off. He's taking all this money in profit. First of all, who cares if he is? It's his company, but he's not.
He's not.
No.
And
we're getting close
by the
now.
way,
we're really settling in on $20,000 to $30,000 in equity this family's going to get. So it's cool.
And by the way, oftentimes if you go the trolls, I'm not talking about the kind people or the thoughtful people. The trolls, oftentimes if you go to their profile, it'll be something like, "Let's be kind to each other. Jesus is watching." Or
it's Good Friday.
What? And you just went in there and did this? You just said that?
Yeah, right. I'm sure that took it in a better direction, but just what a mess that is.
Yeah, it can be. It can be. But
it is.
I do think though, I have learned things. I have had people make me rethink things.
You will see some things, but for the most part, it's an arena for people to
Hitler also built the
half-ass
Autobahn.
Conversations that don't go anywhere.
Let's
throw
talk about
mud at
something
each other
else
and
that's
fight.
really stupid.
Okay.
The astronauts of Blue Origin.
Oh, God.
Now, here's a photo. First of all, how much Botox and lip plumping went up in space?
I think you got duped by on this, Murph. Katy Perry's not in this picture.
Katy Perry was one of them.
Which one is Katy Perry?
Are we sure?
This is not real.
I don't think this is real.
This is not real.
I hope not. All right, AD. Can you find that? Are we sure this isn't real?
I'm not, but I'll try to find it.
That isn't okay. So is this
There's Gail King in the back?
Yep. I can't quite see it. Is that Bezos's girlfriend or wife or something in the front left?
I don't know what she looks like.
She was the one at the inauguration who let her jugs out, like in a really awkward way, and Zuckerberg
That still doesn't
couldn't
help me.
stop looking.
But you're right though. Where's Katy Perry? There were 6, right? I don't
know. Yeah,
I don't
Katy Perry's one of them, and she ain't in that
Let's
picture.
see if this is.
Are we sure?
Unless she's really
Okay, hang on.
changed.
This looks like
Okay.
This
is
the real
Caitlin
picture.
Clark. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not Caitlin
The
Clark.
whole
This is the
show
real
is
picture.
coming full circle. This
Katy
is
Perry's
great.
back there in the back left. Gail King's next to her.
Wait, no, that's Katy Perry in the back. I thought this was more Caitlin Clark AI.
No. This is real. Let's see if I can zoom in.
They
This is real?
Oh yeah, it's Caitlin. That's not Caitlin Clark. Where's
Oh,
Katy,
okay.
Where's Katy Perry? I don't
is that
see
Kimberly
Katy Perry.
Guilfoyle in the front
That's
row?
what I was. Yeah. Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, there's a lot of
there's
Mar-a-Lago
Katy Perry.
face in here.
Oh my gosh, it is Kate. I don't take back the lip plumping and Botox comment. Just maybe
You have
not
to
an
now go back and
exaggerated.
change your vote on the quickie poll.
What about? Yeah, you're right. All right, bottom right is Danica Patrick, crossed with, I don't know, who is that?
Some rich person.
Okay, thank you. Some rich person. All right, so Blue Origin, it's an 11-minute
This is Bezos'
flight.
thing, right?
Right.
Yep.
So they've paid how much, Scott? They've paid a bunch of money to go
$2
up.
million. I thought it was $2 million to go up right now.
And they're up 11 minutes, and some scientists, including like some attached to the NASA space program, dispute whether this is truly space, right?
And I would be one of those who would listen to those folks.
Okay, because the floating, that if you saw the video and it was hard to miss it somewhere, when they're floating, that's similar to what happens when you're at an amusement park and you
Free fall.
Yeah, and you free fall. Yeah, there's a floating moment on a roller coaster or something like that. Doesn't necessarily mean you've reached zero gravity, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. But the controversy of whether this was faked, which I don't think it was faked,
No.
but it was performative, because this video has gone viral of once the re-entry and they come back. If you watch, you can see the door easily open here, but they're quickly told to shut it because the thing needs to be Bezos using a wrench to get them out of the capsule. Like look, he sees he twists
He's
it.
really
Now
working that wrench too.
Now you can come out. We've
Look at my
got you out of
guns.
there.
I've been on the TRT.
Did he pick the right tight shirt? I don't know. He there was a lot of thought that went into that outfit though.
Look at him
those
though. He's
pants look
got
good on my
some
butt.
shoulder width
Yeah,
going
well,
on
he's been
now.
working
Yeah.
out. Oh, this
Yeah.
is that Bezos's?
I think it
Fiance
is.
in
Girl,
here?
yeah.
Yeah, but AD, if you could
Jeez.
play it one more time, watch the hatch. Somebody accidentally opens it, and that's not part of the the performance here.
Well, and
So
before they did that, they're like, "Okay, go ahead, go. I'm recording."
Now let's do it again. All right, can you come back down the stairs again?
And
We
watch
wrenched
how
him
it
in,
all.
everybody.
Look at the wrench. Oh yeah, I just popped right.
Yeah. Woo, back to safety now.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, did he go both ways? Like he had to remember lefty, loosey, righty,
Well,
tighty.
they just had to
Which way is
turn
it?
the doorknob.
Yeah, he tightened it.
Did he just push it? I think he
I
just
don't
pushed the
know.
door.
Yeah.
And there's and I'm fascinated by space, so I have mixed feelings about all this. Well, mostly not mixed. But Scott, where are would there be no re-entry burns because this is more like an airplane flight?
So much of that would depend on. I mean, I'm not an expert, and you should go listen to the experts. But I would imagine that depends on a lot of different things: angles, the speed at which you're descending back to Earth, all those sorts of things. I don't know what the heat shield is like on this sort of thing, but let's just say they didn't do the whole Apollo 13 landing.
Let's get to a stupid quickie poll from the mind of Scott Sipker.
Which of these prices is closest to what you'd pay for an 11-minute trip to space? $10,000, $1,000, $100, or $10?
I'd pay $1,000 to do this. I think that I would.
Just
do
the
that.
rocket ride up would be worth it for me. Just to be strapped to a rocket like that, that's cool.
Yeah, I'd probably pay $1,000 for it.
I don't know.
And this was how much, Scott? Did you say $2 million?
I think it was $2 million. Now I'm sure they had some sponsors and stuff like that, but I think currently the price is $2 million. I have a connection who's very much interested in going, but feels $2 million is too high of a price.
Yeah, but again, like Gail King was comparing herself to Buzz Aldrin or somebody. I forget.
On.
I mean, but this is not. Do you think this is being an astronaut? I don't think it's being an astronaut.
Absolutely not.
This is being rich. This is
It's
being
a ride.
rich.
It's
This
a
is
ride.
going-
It's a ride.
to go
ride
build
going
the
really
Palace
high.
of Versailles way away from Paris because, you just want to get some space from those people.
This is not Alan Shepard.
Yeah, the
This is
right
not-
stuff. I mean, remember like watching the right stuff when those guys had to go through?
And no glass ceiling was broken here either. And the kissing of the ground when you get back. I mean, it's just all of it
Cringy.
is cringe. Yeah, it's cringy.
It is cringy.
I don't know if I blame any of the individual people who went up. I mean, I'm sure it's very exciting, exhilarating, and it's certainly something very few of us have had the opportunity to do and the power of that situation. But you have to be very careful when you're framing these sorts of things. It's like LeBron James calling himself the greatest basketball player ever. Even if that were true, people are going to roll their eyes in the back of their head. You can't say that stuff. You gotta be humble. You gotta frame this. You just did something on a planet where there are millions and millions of people not having enough food to eat, right? You got to keep that stuff in mind, I think.
It's related in some way to like why everybody loves when Ricky Gervais burns Hollywood down with his comments, because they take themselves so seriously and they seem so disconnected from many average Americans, especially maybe people here in the middle of the country. And when he just puts them in their place and they look so uncomfortable, people love it. Like this seems to be a disconnect, this whole, the whole thing. All right, let's get some more on a Friday.
But wait, there's more from Either Or Eatery and Patio.
All right,
Double
either
weight.
or. Yeah, double weight there. Either Or Eatery and Patio. We know them for the patio, but also beautiful inside. Great Friday date night place. If you're looking for a place and you haven't been there, take our word for it and try it out for the first time tonight.
And it's a great place if you just want to get a cocktail, like even a last stop before you head home for the night. It's a wonderful place to have a conversation in a
Couldn't do
nice
that in the
cocktail.
1950s. Take advantage.
Nope. They didn't serve the silver bullet there. Nope. They do have a really good cocktail list. Some good classic spirit-forward libations that you want to try out. Yeah, really great space. Just a beautiful place. On a serious note, yesterday we heard the tragic news that Jay Byers had died, the president of Simpson College. And I think I knew Jay. Jay went to our church, Andrew, and Jay was a wonderful guy and did a lot for the city of Des Moines. He was in charge of the Greater Des Moines Partnership for a long time, helping bring business and renovation to change, improvements to the city of Des Moines, and then was apparently, by all accounts, was doing some really good work down at Simpson, his alma mater, president of the college that he went to. And he died at just age 54 yesterday, so our hearts go out to his friends and family.
Didn't know Jay as well as you, but I did know him. And the thing that really struck me yesterday is how devastated so many different people were. Like I was seeing comments from all directions, and there were many people who you could tell it wasn't just this person has died, I need to say something nice. It was like, this was a wonderful man, or
Jay left an impression.
He sure did. And Jake Brend, who is here on Iowa Everywhere, host of Bigger Than 12, he went to Simpson, and Jake was saying that what Jay Byers did that previously hadn't been done, at least in his lifetime at Simpson, was he really connected Simpson to the Indianola community. Made that a priority to all work together on things, and that had been really important to Jake. So, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it really sucks, and I it seems like we all go through this when somebody dies that and you even had like close moments with. It becomes a selfish moment where we reflect and we think about the exact moments we shared with that person, and then we want to share those moments with everybody else to try and let people know that this person made an impact on us. And I'm sure there's some selfish attention stuff that we do as well. But Jay, last time we just had beers at Big Grove, and it's just your brain. Sometimes you just are going to go through life and have answers or don't have answers to some questions. I think this is one of those. I just don't understand. It's too early.
Yeah, rest in peace to Jay Byers. Nebraska State Troopers say they have caught 318 drivers doing over 100 miles an hour in the first 100 days of 2025.
Wow.
All trying to get into Iowa.
That is, or try to get out of Nebraska. They might have been going west too, or south, north. That's incredible. Over 100 miles an hour, and that's just the ones they caught. What does that tell you? I mean,
I will say
people are not slowing down to take in the scenery. I mean, that's the least they're saying.
Yes, but I do think that's a factor here. And right now, I'm not even being snarky. That drive through Nebraska is the most boring drive I've ever taken in my life. And I imagine there are people who are just like, man, I need to move this along. I just got to
get me to Colorado, get me to Wyoming.
And I know there are drives across Iowa that are not spectacular either, but there are some that are, and certainly any of it's. That drive through Kansas can be kind of rough, but the one through Nebraska,
yeah,
200
I mean,
miles an hour.
If you're trying, I did that one time. We literally picked up 80 at the Wyoming border and took it all the way across, coming back to Des Moines. Nebraska's got a lot of land. That was excruciating. But driving that fast takes some commitment. I mean, you are pushing your car. You are flying by other people at 100 miles an hour in the Midwest. I mean, you are like committed to driving. You think you're in a race.
Is the more team, do you have any extra resources you could pour into finding out what are the most common cars to be going over 100 miles an hour? I'd be very interested to see who's pushing it to the limit.
Nebraska trucks. Yeah, a lot of trucks.
They're all painted red. I can tell you that.
They got something about the Huskers stuck to the tailgate
some of those
for sure.
old cars, those old trucks, they ain't getting up to 100.
No, they ain't going 100.
Do truck nuts slow you down or speed you
Truck
up?
nuts slow you down.
Oh, no, that's like a nitro burst right there.
Sunday is Easter, and it is also, I guess ironically, in this case, 420. It's a weed day. Yeah. Some businesses will be closed for the holiday, and others will be open to celebrate 420.
Making a comeback.
What's this one?
Jeez, this graphic is
OMG, happy
going to
420
offend
Easter. It's Jesus in some rose-colored glasses.
Oh,
as he
yeah.
would tend to wear.
He's still got the sun behind his head, which is always good.
He's just lit that match and is about to just. He's just about to fire that joint right there.
Snaps his finger.
Is the joint already lit?
It is
this
lit.
post-light or pre-light?
Looks a little bit like Aaron Rodgers without the Star Trek tattoo.
He's going to fire this. He's going to rip this joint right there. Okay, so some businesses will be open to celebrate 420, and some of them are doing food specials. Jimmy John's has the THC box special.
What? Jimmy John's doesn't sell THC.
No, THC stands for the ham and cheese or something. Yeah, right. Yeah, something like
Salt and vinegar chips have to be in this munchie box. What else would be there?
Those are really
good chips.
Oh, those are
Red
great
Lobster's Side Hustle by Dre and Snoop cocktail special.
Oh,
that's a Red Lobster.
And some drawn butter.
Popeyes has a limited Munchies menu. Okay, you got the Munchies. What sounds best? Jimmy John's, Red Lobster, or Popeyes?
Popeyes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh man, give me some of that Cajun chicken. Oh my gosh, right
that
now.
Chicken
Remember when there
sandwich.
were biscuits? Remember even in Des Moines when there were like
biscuits?
lines out the door of Popeyes when they first had that spicy chicken sandwich?
I think like the shittiest thing on the menu at Popeyes is still just amazing. And then either or, don't leave them out. They got the Sipker special. That's a climbing kite seltzer followed by an order of Mexican cheese curds and a piece of chocolate peanut butter cheesecake served exactly 20 minutes later.
And don't forget about the stop to the restroom.
You may want to you may be wondering, like, where Iowa does not have legalized recreational marijuana, as we all know. But the surrounding states do, and we're not too far away from them. So if you're going to go north, the closest one is the High North Dispensary in Cottage Grove, Minnesota.
That's like 3.5 hours away. It's too far.
It's over 3 hours.
If you were looking to drive somewhere, I'm saying.
If you want to go east, the closest one is a place called the Dispensary in Fulton, Illinois.
Clever
That's
name.
another 3 hours.
I know a guy that goes to Missouri all the time.
You want to go south to my home state of Missouri, you will find Tom Danks's Green Mile Weed and Feed in Arnold, Missouri.
Hey, when we were in Florida last weekend, and that has changed now. They sell.
They don't have recreational down there though.
I don't know but the THC drinks are everywhere.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And there's no limit on the
the milligrams.
Some of them are 20s.
Oh yeah, we got strict limits here. We do.
All right.
From the bowels of Instagram, we bring you this. Another reason why you should consume the Murph and Andy show via YouTube. Yeah, Gary's love for Doris didn't work out the way he wanted to. The guy doing the skywriting makes Doris look like penis. Gary loves penis.
Poor Gary.
Oh no.
Oh, that's so great.
But doesn't our AI discussion like ruin this too? Don't you?
You're right.
I'm like, man, somebody might have messed with that picture and it didn't really happen. I want to believe in my heart that actually happened. And then Gary looked up there and was like, oh God.
I've written some O's that look a lot like E's.
Can I just even?
It's hard to do an O in an airplane.
Oh my gosh! And even the G with the Gary is way off. This person needs to learn airplane penmanship skills.
Think how many people Gary told, how much money he spent. hey, 3 o'clock this afternoon. Look up. You're gonna see something amazing.
I'm gonna make a big announcement, everybody. Big announcement today.
Yeah, that's it.
Everybody,
Gary's like, hey. Anybody who ever had any doubts, you're about to have those doubts removed when you look up in the sky, because I'm putting it all out there. Get your cameras out.
To tell you.
Be ready, because you need to know this, and you're going to want to tell everybody.
Wait.
Penis?
All you people have been telling me that you think I'm gay? No. I am committing my love to a woman. I paid a skywriter.
Doris,
He's been up there for 20 minutes. This will prove it. This will beyond all reasonable doubts. This will solve it right here.
Doris,
you see that? Gary loves penis.
I'm a man of few words, Doris, but action is where I'm about. I have something important to tell you. Just go outside and look.
I mean, is a refund even enough here?
No, and Doris probably left.
Reviews on TripAdvisor make it clear that many visitors to England's Abbey Road are very disappointed to discover it is really just a road. That's it.
That's it.
There's no Beatles memorabilia being hawked along the side. It's just the crosswalk. I'm sure everybody stops traffic taking their own album cover picture.
Yeah.
But people are disappointed by that. I mean, you got to do a little research, right? Would you go in that blind thinking that you'd actually see John, Paul, George, and Ringo out in the middle there?
we did the research because we did the research and saw that with limited time in that area that this was not worth it.
Yeah.
So we did go to Strawberry Fields and some other places, but
was that worth it? I mean, there's a recording studio.
No, because it was like, first of all, the park is really small, and in our minds it was going to be this big park, and it's like in American dollars it's $40 or $50 each to get in and just walk around this small park. So I would say no. But
let's talk about some of the other. Let's talk about some of the other letdown tourist attractions that you've experienced. I will say I was disappointed with the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Murph, you've been there, right?
I'm going the other way with this because I had so many people. You were one of them who I think my expectations were so low. I actually thought, oh, this is cooler than I thought.
Well, it was fine. It's much smaller than you think. It's not. It's small, and I guess what disappointed me was that, I mean, the structure is collapsed initially because it was bad engineering. The soil beneath it wasn't secured right, but they're now trying to keep it from continuing to fall. And there's all kinds of counterweights on the other side. You can't see them in this picture, but they're there.
But they want to keep the tilt. They're not trying to straighten it out.
Oh, no, they're not trying to straighten it out, but they don't want it to fall all the way over because the entire town of Pisa would just be wiped off the map at that point. It's gone. But I was just kind of disappointed. I was like, okay, you're artificially, and have been for a long time, artificially preserving this. So I was a little disappointed by that.
I imagine it's annoying seeing all the people doing this, too.
Yep, and I did that.
God, yes,
yeah, I did.
Everybody.
I did that. Everybody does it, and it's everywhere.
Right?
And I think my top memory from that day though was Jenny's father ordered a sausage pizza, and they looked at him like he was crazy. They didn't really understand the order, and so they sliced up a hot dog and cooked it on top of the pizza. We've changed some things about Italian dishes here in the country. They're not serving up sausage pizza.
No, it's like a margarita pizza. That's it. Yeah. Apparently the Taj Mahal is a real letdown, which, like, these pictures make it look like incredibly grand. It's apparently a lot smaller than this, and then just surrounded by hawkers.
Yeah,
people trying to take your money.
I had that experience with Graceland. Graceland was just so much smaller than I expected it to be. I'm still glad I went, and I've been fascinated by Elvis my whole life and everything about him. So I'm glad I went, but I just thought it was going to be like the size of the White House, and it's just a small house considering what is in your mind.
Apparently, the pyramids of Giza are also, they never look like this. They're surrounded by hawkers. There's a giant dirty city very close to it. Stands, people with donkeys all over wanting to pull you around and just will never leave you alone.
Make you uncomfortable.
You've been to Venice also, Murph?
Yes.
Okay, did not look like this when I was there.
It looked like that when I was
choked
there.
with boats. So many boats. So many people. Oh my God, there were so many people when I was there. Just all of the bridges lined with people. I think the biggest bummer that I've had recently was when last summer my friend Scott and I went on Route 66. We stopped at the Cadillac Ranch in near Amarillo, Texas. And there's all these really cool pictures of it. It's just this quirky attraction. But first of all, this is all just like foot traffic, beaten down mud all around it. And they spray it down once a day to keep the dust from wearing out the cars. And then so there's just mud puddles everywhere, people climbing all over the place. You can buy a can of spray paint for like $20 and go spray paint on these cars. It was not worth stopping. And then I think a really big one that people around here will think of is Wall Drug. Have you guys stopped there before?
Yeah.
No, I don't know what this is.
It's in South Dakota. There's a bazillion signs for it when you're headed west toward the Badlands and Mount Rushmore. There's so many signs, and they, it's Wall Drug, 20 miles, Wall Drug, 10 miles. And finally you stop. It's just a giant store.
Junk store.
Right? It's a junk store. It's just tourist crap. Mount Rushmore is on a lot of these lists. I thought it was kind of cool. But the Black Hills themselves are I think more beautiful in their natural state.
I've got to get to Mount Rushmore.
Cool.
I've never seen this.
Yeah.
And then apparently Stonehenge. Stonehenge is not worth it. You can't get anywhere near the stones anymore, that shouldn't be surprising, but it's also smaller than you think. And we will end today's round of More with a simple game of Who's the Asshole, courtesy of More Team contributor Drew.
You asshole.
You're an asshole.
Stop breaking the law, asshole! Back off, asshole!
This machine
can just call me an asshole.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Keep firing, assholes!
I'm an American. You're a sick asshole.
Drew just makes it real simple. Who's the asshole here? Okay, 4 choices.
4 choices.
Discussions that we've hit this week for sure. 4 choices. Who's the asshole? Or who's the biggest asshole, I guess? The student athlete who thinks they are entitled to NIL money. The universities who continue to ask for more money from fans and donors despite being public, not-for-profit institutions who don't pay the athletes themselves. The collectives who pressure fans and know damn well the whole charade is not sustainable for more than a year at a time. Or the agents who've swarmed the scene to gouge collectives, take advantage of athletes, and pressure the coaches.
All right. So the agents are low-hanging fruit, but they're just taking advantage of the marketplace. The athletes in this multi-billion-dollar industry should be compensated. The collectives exist because to be competitive, you have to have a collective in order to try to keep up with the Joneses. So of these 4, it's the universities for making all this money and still trying to continue this charade that these are not employees, even though, like, when I worked at Valdosta State University in the post office, I was an employee. I mean, they made me an employee. These universities all have employees with part-time jobs. They just don't want to make the student athletes employees because then you have to deal with benefits and.
Well, you don't blame them though for that, right?
I do blame them because it's the only way out at this point. And I think they're going to keep kicking the can down the road.
But you understand that that's a no-win situation for university. Once they open that can of worms, they're screwed.
Oh, and the collective bargaining will take place. There's going to be unions. Yeah, but
you're just not going to be able to. You're going to have.
But
there's no way to equally distribute that. You're going to get.
It can't be on the fans, though. It can't be on the fans to pay even more, and that's kind of what we have existing now. So there's levels of all of these. You think of Nico Iamaleava, and you think, well, maybe he's the a-hole. But I think of these 4, the university's refusals to act in time, along with the NCAA, gets us to this point.
That's why I'd like to go off the board a little bit. This is totally the asshole work of decades, maybe longer, of the NCAA. We are in this situation because the NCAA was full of people who were perfectly comfortable being assholes, and they didn't want to give up the power that their asshole ship gave them. And
yes, but they're empowered by university presidents. They work for university presidents.
Yes, but they had that power for decades to try and get together and figure this out. And talking about kick the can down the road, they're like, now we'll figure it out. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I'll be rich and retired by then. Yeah, that's what
exactly.
They're thinking.
So I don't need to worry about it. And whether it's right or wrong, I don't care. This is how this system is set up, and it'll keep me in power. That's what's going on. And that's why those people are assholes, and they've gotten us into the situation.
So picking from these 4, you go with?
Universities. Yeah, it's just time. You got to pull the plug. I know, Andy, there's a bunch of problems with every one of these solutions, but you got to pull the Band-Aid off. I think you got to make them employees. You got to start doing collective bargaining. You're going to have to set it up like it is in the professional leagues because that's what it is now.
I just think that's a really simple, that's way too simple. This is so complicated. This is just a gigantic cavernous rabbit hole.
But this is exactly what everybody told us for decades.
You are not going to be able to just pay, you're not going to be able to just pay the football and basketball players. That's going to be a mess. That's going to be wrought with lawsuits.
Yep.
But what I'm saying, Andy, is everything is that. Everything is that already. And we've been told we're not going to change because of exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
you're going to have to bite off the bullet.
Well, you got to have everybody at the bargaining table to do that. And I don't know that they're even close to that position. The NCAA doesn't have the power to pull everybody to the bargaining table, and the conferences only care about themselves.
Yeah,
I mean this is somebody needed to have some sort of foresight years ago, and then they had to have the power to get it all set up. I don't.
I think a lot of us.
I don't know.
had that
I don't know
foresight.
who's
We
the
just didn't have the
asshole
power.
here. I just don't. I mean, I think it's easiest to say the universities or the collectives because they're the most faceless. They're the biggest group of people that we don't name individually.
The agents
But-
definitely make it worse than it is. Like they're
More
not
seedy.
the reason there's a problem, and they're just taking advantage of, as you guys have explained, a terrible system. But they also come in with the greed and in people's ears and athletes' ears and coaches' ears. One of the big reasons people are turned off by college athletics right now isn't because athletes are getting paid. It's because the transfer portal. It's because it feels more like it's about money. Guys holding out, guys sitting out, and agents are a big part of it.
When we used to be able to kid ourselves
Yeah.
and say that it wasn't about that stuff, right?
Right.
And when these
of
kids
course,
were
it
going to our
always
school
was
because
about this.
they love the school like we do, and as it turns out, it was, when given the chance, they will all just take money rather than the school.
But this system is
Colors the
better
history.
because now everybody has it. Before, the whole system was run on money and under the table. John Wooden, yes, that John Wooden was a cheater. He paid, his players got paid. That happened. And that always happened everywhere. Now all we've done is said, hey, everybody gets an equal shot at this now. So it is way better now. The corruption before is so disgusting. It's different now, but at least it's mostly in the light. Let's keep shining the light on it.
Is the movie Blue Chips underrated for its prescient ability to see into the future? How long has
But
that
that's the
been
thing.
since that was out?
That's what I always say. It
30
wasn't
years.
prescient. It's been true. Money has been the driving factor of getting players to certain universities for probably almost the entire time of college.
We might be the
That's what's
assholes for just going along with the denial
There it
for
is.
this long, pretending
is.
like this was something that it wasn't.
You know what?
We
I'll
pump
take
we
that.
pump a lot of
I'll
money
take
into
that.
it. We pump way too much meaning into
We
it.
support it.
We've all talked about
We're
that,
still
yeah.
supporting it now.
My day is ruined by Iowa athletics, or my day is made because of it.
And Division III is available
Right.
to all
Right.
of us for fandom.
Yes.
Yep.
Grandview
Yep.
plays to mostly empty football stadium despite winning a national championship. There are
Yeah.
Now,
Ben
He's got
McCullum,
it.
You figure
Ben
it out.
McCullum wasn't
asshole.
worried about any of this stuff when he was still in Division II.
Right.
Could have been rooting for him all that time as Drake fans.
right. It's
know.
us.
I wonder how this ends
us.
up. Wouldn't
It's
you
us.
like to be able to look into the future 20 years and be like, all right, what happened?
Can I be a bit
Where's
predictive?
the end of the story?
SEC, Big Ten, one of them too. They break off. They set up a smaller, much easier to control, smaller league with fewer teams, and they have their set of rules. And bada bing, bada boom.
It sounds great, Scott.
Everybody wants to get into
No
that.
problem.
Yeah. That's your more, everybody.
It is time for the Andrew Downs audio drop of the day, known far and wide as the AD squared.
Yeah, it's powered by Game Day Men's Health. You can go to the one in Ankeny.
I've
West
got
Des
some
Moines.
questions for
All
you
right,
about Game
all
Day
right.
Men's Health. All right, so AD, you say you're feeling better and you're clearly looking better and
Not
like your
me.
life's better, all of that since you
Yeah.
started getting these tee shots at Game Day.
That's true.
Now, are you doing supplementary things like you're now working out and stretching and watching your diet and eating a lot more vegetables and lean meats and not drinking as much, or are you just getting these tee shots?
I'm working out more than I did.
What are you doing?
That sounded like a
I
no.
go to the gym. What do you mean? What am I doing? I lift. I don't like I don't like treadmills. So
Yeah,
I
they suck.
I do
Okay,
sometime
nobody
on
does.
the bike and sometime on the elliptical.
Okay.
And then I lift machines. I'm too old for free weights. I'm not trying to,
But you're
set
doing more than you used to, which
yeah,
was
absolutely.
nothing.
Doing a lot more than I used to, which was nothing.
And
I'm
not
really
eating a box of
watching- I'm
Twinkies.
not really watching what I eat or
Which was
or any
nothing.
of that kind of.
And do they recommend, like at Game Day, do they recommend a well-rounded plan or what?
Yes,
what
absolutely.
kind of?
They do. They highly recommend it. That's why you see gains like Chris Williams. He has changed his diet. He has changed his lifestyle. So he's lost 35
He's
pounds.
losses like Williams.
I feel a lot better though than I did, and I have the energy to go to the gym in the evening because I like to go at night. That's always been my thing. But I had a weird year eating wise last year, so I'm allowing myself to just eat whatever the hell.
So
I want.
between us, just us, the four of us,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the listening audience.
Right.
But how's your libido?
It's good. It's good, baby.
Better?
That was
or
never a
good?
problem, though.
Well, I know, but is it?
Let me ask you. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'll
like
say it's a little better. Yeah.
when like last night when the storm was kicking up and you stood up by the window to take a look at it.
Where is this going?
Did you break glass?
No comment. Hey, it's Friday, so some parental advisory is necessary. I hope my parents aren't watching.
When's the last time you pitched a tent?
You want me to stand up? None of these bleeps are necessary. It's all innocent conversation.
Game day just renewed for a year.
It's all innocent conversation. I place bleeps to make you hear things that aren't actually being said. What you hear is on you, not us. It's This Week in Iowa Unnecessary Censorship.
A new survey says that many Americans would rather talk about who they voted for, a private medical issue, their disappointment in their own children, or their shitting habits, rather than how much money they have in the bank.
We're able to see Scott say hello, have a couple of beers and a good day. We had a great time.
This is innovative. Kyle says that would be the best ever. Oh, he off the little guy.
I was hoping Jeff would be nearby because I thought maybe he would want to offer his 2 cents here, but he's out f***ing people over by the Cub Cadets.
He's probably busy.
What the Lifetime Giving Society is a group of the biggest at the University of Iowa.
Literally, because I wake up thinking about I go to bed thinking about it's like my kids, and thankfully I can't eat them because, if I could, I would.
It's just like taking a flashlight, and what can you see of a giant shit with a flashlight that you're holding in your hand? I mean, you can see, one little piece of it.
Oh, nicely done, AD, and thanks to Game Day. Quickie poll results are presented by WCI Pools and Spas in Ames and Urbandale, and we have 2 polls, a regular poll and the stupid Quickie poll.
Have you ever fallen for a fake AI story?
It's clearly a yes for me.
Well, I guess we're in the minority. I feel like I probably have, but 63% say no, they have, and 37% say yes. Stupid Quickie poll of these: which of these prices is closest to what you'd pay for an 11-minute trip to space? $10,000, $1,000, $100, or $10? $10 says 37%. $10.
That's the same price to ride the sky glider at the Iowa State Fair.
It's probably
it probably
less.
is. Yeah. It might be less. Yeah, 30% say they'd pay $1,000. 18% would pay $100, and only 15%. This is the wrong test market. If Jeff Bezos is trying to go national with us, don't come to Iowa.
This is not.
They
the
don't
place to
even
be.
know we're here anyway.
They fly a drone here once in a while.
Fly over
All right.
us. Yeah.
Guys, thank you. This was fun. And we thank you for watching or listening here to Murph and Andy on Iowa Everywhere. Be sure to check out the merch store at iowaeverywhere.com, courtesy of Andrew Downs and AKC Marketing. And as you see there, if you get a chance, please do like and subscribe at the bottom of the screen on whatever platform you found us. We're back Monday. We hope you are too.
Happy Easter.